One of the things that is recognized in the legal profession is seniority. Now, today, a number of 824 new lawyers have been called to the bar. Here with me is JB Afrifa, Esquire, who has been called to the bar for the past 3 years. Here with me is one of the 824 new lawyers called to the bar. There's going to be a conversation between the two of them where the new lawyer would want to find out from the senior lawyer some of the things he should look out for, he should be mindful of, he should be careful of, from pupilage to life after pupilage.
Senior, from being called to the bar and then looking for a place to do pupilage, how was it? Was it difficult? Because some of my colleagues are having challenges to finding a place to do their pupilage. Some of us too, we are already sorted. So how was it for you? How was the search? Or did you get a place before being called to the bar, or after being called to the bar, you had to look for a place for pupilage?
Thanks for bringing this up. In fact, I had the fortunate of experience where exactly on the day of my call, just when I had left the same premises, I received a call from the office where I had applied to have my pupilage done, that they were expecting me at work on Monday.
So what it means is that the day you were called, you got another call.
Precisely so. Precisely so. So I had a call on that same day, though I had applied before. I had been interviewed by a panel of some strong 7 Supreme Court justices.
Wow.
Back in the Kufaro Prempeh country. I mean, it was a rigorous exercise.
Okay.
God being so good, I passed through it. But it doesn't detract from the fact that there are challenges in that system. We all know. We advocated for opening legal education, among other things. Now, the next step for our leaders, the GBA, the Judiciary, Law School Board of Legal Education, to look at is an instance where we pay attention to our mentorship. Because, I mean, the profession is that of learning.
Exactly.
The place where a lawyer who has been called to the bar would study a pupilage, which is a learning experience, is very important. And so if the issue is about spaces where people are not getting places to do their pupilage, we should be looking at broadening the horizon, the avenues of legal practice. I think that sometimes the misconception is that everyone who is getting called is thinking about practicing in a private law firm.
Yeah.
However, there are many avenues where law can be applied. There are many sectors where you can have use for the practice of law than being in a private law firm. And so if it is an issue of education, I think that we have to be doing more of that education. I mean, sometimes a lot of juniors do reach out to me, students reach out to me about pupilage and all that. And sometimes the first question I ask is that, what kind of practice do you want to do? Because that would matter. Do you want to be that private legal practitioner? Do you want to be in a corporate environment? Do you want to go into academia? All these are avenues where you can practice them. So that is very crucial to selecting where you'd want to be. And from identifying the practice that you want to be engaged in, and we go from looking at firms, their visions and their ideas, because I mean, you wouldn't want to start learning in a place where their vision and their mission does not accord to your values.
Exactly.
You would miss the point. And so all these things are crucial issues. But I think that there is a crucial issue of space availability when it comes to pupilage. I mean, and it's sad that you'd have persons who were called to the bar, I mean, even as of last year and to date, they are trying to find a place. It's quite unfortunate. And I'll call on leadership, the GBA, the GLC, all those who are involved, the stakeholders involved, to look at this critical issue where we would set out, crucial policy inroads that would assist, lawyers to have the opportunity of getting easy access to a place for pupilage.
Yeah. That's very exciting, Senior. Senior, so after, going through the struggle of finding a place to do pupilage, how was it when you started? The first day at the firm, how was it?
It hasn't been easy. It hasn't been easy. And sometimes I do like to tell this truth, which may not be so pleasant that it may never get better. You are in law school, you think about the stress you are going through, sitting for exams, IEC issues. I mean, you'll be there and you hear information about the assessment, feedback from some lecturers over some scripts they are marking, and I mean, it's so much, trauma But it may not get better because, as I said, if only you want to be a good lawyer, it takes a lot of sacrifice. And I believe that you have learned that, your knowledge on advocacy and ethics is presumed. The qualities of a good advocate, that it would take a lot of sacrifice. You would have to sacrifice because it takes hard work. It takes, being humble enough to learn. Take it as if you do not know anything. You have learned a lot in the classroom, but trust me, what goes on in practice is an entirely different ball game. And sometimes, the early stages, sometimes you may be sad because you think that I was doing so well in my class. In this course, I had 80 plus. And so why am I seeing all these corrections in my drafts? Sometimes it comes and there are so many pens in it, and it's as if you did nothing. It's as if you know nothing. But don't be discouraged, because when you have such seniors who would correct you, it is the beginning of you getting to know a lot. And so be humble enough, be teachable, and trust me, you will learn a lot in a very short time. Sometimes the time may not matter. Your years standing at the bar may not matter so much. As long as you have seniors, good seniors, who are willing to teach you and you're also willing to learn, you'll be able to learn a lot in a short while that will be most beneficial to yourself. And so it hasn't been easy till today. Even the senior lawyers, they are reading every day. One of my seniors under which I did my internship, Alex Bonzi-Imprim, would say that make sure no day passes by without reading a case law.
Okay.
Make it an objective that with each day you would read a case law. You'll find so much in a case law. Go through the law reports, different areas, and abreast yourself with the principles in there. Now, you've learned substantive law, you've learned procedure. If a matter happens today, though you don't have your license, which you get soon in 6 months, the clients would put their whole life in your hands, and you'd be expected to do a miracle. Sometimes the mess may have already been caused, but do they care about the mess? They expect you, the lawyer, to bring them some solutions. And so it is not about, I didn't learn this, I need to. No, you should know and should be able to solve problems. We all studied in our legal system that law should be used as a tool to solve problems. And so law is relevant into societal development, and you play a part in that change that happens because you, the lawyer, will be the person that will bring that change that is needed. And so life depends on you, and your knowledge would be what would save the day when some of these problems come to you. Don't stop learning.
I would want to know from my senior how we should relate with our judges, especially the ones that sometimes comes off a bit as aggressive towards us in court, or sometimes if you feel embarrassed by a judge, how do you handle it? Do you meet the judge in chambers, or you try to find another way to speak to the judge?
Yes. I would want you to refer to me as a colleague. I'm only getting into my 3 years. So don't worry, we are all part of the Young Lawyers Forum. And until we are 7 years, we are all in this corner. Now, relating to judges, it's very important. Just like we normally say, the cliche, man, know thyself. As a lawyer, you should know your judge. You should know your judge's temperament, their dispositions as to issues and all that. But what I would say is that I will take you a little back to your ADR class where you learned to separate the people from the problem. Exactly, that's how it's supposed to be. You are there to represent the interest of your client. Don't make the temperament of the judge and your personal attitude or probably your ego to be disadvantageous to your client, because at the end of the day, you may relate with the judge anyhow, but it's your client who would have who will feel the repercussions, the negative repercussions. And so you have to be very polite. As counsel, you should always be polite to the court. And that will also take you to your advocacy and ethics class. That the judge is the final arbiter. And we know, per our jurisprudence, judges do have a lot of discretion. There are a lot of judgments, orders that are made, and they are premised on discretion. Now, the judges really do observe whether they are aggressive towards you or not. Sometimes they are even looking at your reaction to when they push you that further. And when it's time for them to exercise their discretion, they may look at, sometimes, they do look at some of those things. persons who have the respect of the court. Regardless of how you speak to them, they would apologize when they have to ask counsel. Yeah, so William, simply put, just be polite to the court and know your judge. Know the extent to which they can be pushed. I mean, some of them, sometimes they don't expect that you talk so much. Sometimes, I mean, they've already read whatever you come to them. If they tell you to do something, they expect that you do just that. If it is something that is disadvantageous, find a nicer way of addressing the judge. And I believe that you go well with them. Yes.
And they keep saying that there is a lot of money at the bar. As for us, yes, I wanted to find out how true that assertion is, and if you are an incoming lawyer like me, now that I'm a lawyer, what space, like 3 years, 5 years before I can cash out, you know?
Cash out season.
I like the cash out part.
The cash out is very important,
very important,
We've done serious investments. So how many years should we give ourselves to learn before we actually, start trying to cash out?
Yes. The late Charles Kojo Fusuda Dilumba made reference to Ecclesiastes 10 and said, money answers all things. And so issues about money, it's very important. And they do say that the bar is prosperous. Now, but I would want to make this point as junior counsel. Am I standing here? I'm not a rich man. So I would make that disclaimer. Yes, but there is always that expectation. But it should not be the objective of any prospective lawyer or lawyer to get rich with law. To get rich with law. I mean, we all do need. I mean, the theory of needs will tell you that we all have some basic needs, among other things, all the other needs. And so we need the money, but it shouldn't be the primary focus, because making money your primary objectives could end you somewhere that you may not even be able to practice for long. I mean, but mind you, GLC is still watching you. You are still under their cover. And sometimes, I mean, we've read all those cases about disciplinary actions before the GLC and all that. And so it should not be the primary objective. What I would say for now that you have been called is that be willing to learn. Find a firm who will teach you, a senior who will teach you. When you have knowledge, you can make money for yourself, and the money will come, the opportunities will come. And so seek knowledge, learn now, the money will come later, as they always say.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for your advice, and I believe that it will go a long way to help all the incoming lawyers who were called to the bar today. In fact, there are no more incoming lawyers, they are now fully fledged lawyers. Thank you very much for your time. Thank you, and once again, congratulations to you.
Congratulations.
Yeah.
All right. All right. All the best.
Charlie.